A little clip there from that Panorama programme. Well, with me now are Shane Ryan, Chief Executive of Working with Men, a charity that works with men and boys who feel marginalised from society, and Jacob Sakil, a 19-year-old from South London who works with black schoolboys in mentoring programmes. Gents, it's good to have you, and thanks very much indeed for joining us. If I could start with you, Jacob, the experience that we saw in that Panorama clip, and indeed across the half hour of the programme, was one of young black men finding it incredibly difficult to get on that bottom rung of the working ladder. Is that your experience from the kids that you're dealing with, you know, down in London?
I think, you know, from personal experience, I'm only 19 years old. I started my own business up quite recently. But when I was out there looking for jobs, it was incredibly hard. I'm talking about the local shops that's around my area that I put my CVs in. I went to Central London many times to give out my CVs, and I found it incredibly hard. But because of me getting involved in youth politics and focusing on my own personal skills, I was able to market myself and think about starting my own business. But when it comes to young males, it is a big problem, and I think the role models is a part of it.
Okay, so for you then, what was the problem in getting a job initially? Was it the fact that, you know, you're black? Was it the fact that you're male? I mean, what was the issue involved, do you think? Why did you find it so difficult?
I think first thing is really when it comes to the workplace, a lot of young black males, for example, would ask themselves that question: do I have to change who I am in order to be accepted into the workforce? And I think when it comes to that, what skills that we need to train our young people to be able to be sellable when it comes to getting a job. And I think when it came to me personally, I knew being black was a part of it, but I knew that's not the card that I was going to play. I was going to give my all. Obviously, I didn't get the jobs that I wanted, but then again, you know, the opportunity to start my own business was really great. And I think watching a documentary, that's something that can be a solution to the problem. Although we need to talk to employers about the idea of making sure we give anybody the chance to be a part of their organizations, we should also talk about the idea of, you know, running your own business. What is that about, and how can we make that possible?
So, Shane, if I could turn to you, young black men are not helping themselves is part of what Jacob is saying there, and what seemed to be coming out from the Panorama documentary, that young black men are not selling themselves enough in the marketplace, particularly a competitive one now when there are so many people who are out of work and so few jobs.
Well, I would say that as an organisation that works to support positive male activity, engagement and involvement, much of what we do is try to instill those skills and expand the circles of influence of young men. It is an issue, but it's not the only issue. There's an issue obviously around race that's not being tackled here.
The ethnic penalty has been described.
Yes, I think that we need to, I think race as an issue is not discussed as much as it should be. We need to be upfront about the issues regarding race. We work with young men from all ethnic backgrounds, but we do find that young men have particular difficulty in finding work, and that can't just be about the fact that these young men aren't looking. We work with young men every day that are looking very hard for a job. There have to be other issues, and we need to address that. So upfront discussions around race, I think, is part of the way forward.
Sure. I mean, you know, the figures for Afro-Caribbean graduates, 3 times more likely to be unemployed than white graduates. So, you know, one presumes that these are young black graduates who are smart, intelligent, dress well, know how to hold themselves in an interview situation. They're still having problems. That might suggest it's the old ethnic penalty there.
I think that the other thing we've seen the film, and we've heard Jeremy and Tunde talking about some of the issues. What I'd like to take this opportunity to do is to appeal to big business. There is a wealth of talent out there that they are not exploiting at all. And at the end of the day, if you look at young men like Jacob, that kind of diversity brings huge amounts to the workplace, and it means money. So there's one side of it, you look at one side of it where Jeremy was talking about crime and disorder and the cost to the economy that way, but look at the money we're losing through not engaging these young men.
Jacob, it seems bizarre that businesses haven't wised up to this then. I mean, if there are talented young black men out there, why aren't they going for them? And the bottom line is, young, intelligent Afro-Caribbean women are getting in the workplace.
I think, you know, if we want to think about it, role models, for example, I was reading a book recently called Return to Glory by Joel Freeman, and what it reminded me of is that people of my background has been very successful. And, you know, we're looking at role models in this country. For example, I've met Courtney Griffiths before, QC. I met Ken Elisa. I met Tim Campbell. And these people has made me realize that, okay, yeah, you're black, but that's not the only thing to you. You are an individual. You have something to give. And I think if we really want to get young people, young black males out there and being part of the workforce, we have to show them that they have something to give themselves and they have something that's special and unique about them. It's not this idea of selling yourself, because it's this, when you say selling yourself, it's like you have to change who you are. I think you really need to harness who you are as an individual and what you have to bring. We all have unique qualities, and if we start teaching the young males today that they are unique and they have something unique to give, then you'd be quite surprised that that young person might not give out 400 CVs. He might think about, how do I start a business up? He might think about, okay, what can I give back? And then people start coming to them. I think one of the things young people realize, they're like, oh, I don't have the money to start up the business. But one thing I've learned in the last 12 months of starting up my business, capital follows ideas. And if you surround yourself with the right people, you will be successful. And coming here today is really about appealing to other young people. If you really want to make it, you know, for example, like follow me on Twitter, like I'm around loads of other young people who really want to make a change, but the only way we can do that is if we start helping each other and create a network where we can actually rely on each other as well.
Let's hope that starts happening. Jacob Sakil and Shane Ryan, it's great to have you both in. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Right, we've got a bit of breaking news for you on the issue of Europe, and that is that the Conservative Party will publish a draft